wrestling fans. Not sports entertainment fans. Professional wrestling fans. Professional wrestling. This is it. This is us standing up. This is
the Wrestling Matters Podcast, a podcast that stands up for professional wrestling. Why? Because wrestling matters. So join the revolution, because the revolution is now.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
professional wrestling. This is it. This is us standing up.
Yes, 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 yes.
That's 13-14.
Dina, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold said so.
My lordy, look at the time. What time is it? It's Wrestling Matters Podcast time. That's right. Episode 86 is here, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anthony Walker. The H, the E, to the A, to that beautiful D. How are we all doing? Hope you're well and whatever it is you are doing. Hope all is good in your area, in your world. And hope you've had good weather, because I can pretty damn tell you right now, we damn sure haven't had it here in the UK. Frozen, frosty, ice, talks of snow. Hasn't arrived yet, thank God. You know, typical good old-fashioned British weather. But hey, I suppose you'll get that now, since it's close to Christmas. On today's show, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk wrestling, we're going to talk professional wrestling, we're going to do some promoting, and we're going to talk Mystery Island as well. That's right, we're going to talk Raw, Smackdown, I'll mention TNA, NXT, and Ring of Honor as well. And in the middle of all that as well, I will play my audio that I made for my predictions for Survivor Series. That's right, Survivor Series was yesterday. Hope you enjoyed Survivor Series. Be sure to check out my video reviewing Survivor Series. And it's pretty much the same old show today, ladies and gentlemen. Good old-fashioned wrestling talk, as we always do on the podcast. Right, a few things I'm going to mention before we get into the format of the show. First of all, thank you to everybody who got me over 100 likes on Facebook as far as the Games Matter channel is concerned. Facebook.com/Games Matter channel. Thank you so much for checking that out. Also, ladies and gentlemen, over 1,100 likes. That's right, 1,100 likes. I am over that now on the Wrestling Matters Facebook page. Facebook.com/Wrestling Matters. Big shout out to David Anderson and everybody at the Mystery Island as well, and Peter, who runs the Mystery Island as well. Be sure to check them out. Also, look them up on YouTube as well. I don't think they've got a link. They didn't show me the link. Be sure to check them out as well on Twitter, if I can find it. Be sure to check them out on Twitter and Facebook. They do have a Facebook page. They do have a Twitter page as well. And just be sure to check them out. They're now our, I guess you could say, partnerships as well. Facebook.com/Back to the Island, spelt one word, and not to the number 2, by the way. Back number 2 the Island, all in one word. Sounds like a Venga Boy song, doesn't it? Back to the Island. Twitter.com/Da Mystery Island, DA Mystery Island, all in one word. And just look them up on YouTube as well. And they have a website, wehavetogo.weebly.com. Okay, wehavetogoback.weebly.com. That's right, it's a mouthful, but hey, it works for them. Be sure to check them out as well. And speaking of websites, ladies and gents, I have a website. That's right, I have a website as well. Yes, finally, I have my own website, theanthonywalker.net, where you can find out more about about Mystery Island as well. You can find out more about my other partners as well, OSW TV, as well as RFPW as well. Be sure to check out them. Also, you can check out more about the Wrestling Matters channel on YouTube, the Games Matter channel as well. Be sure to check out that. And also, you can also now listen to the podcast as well on that channel as well via SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/wrestling_matters_podcast. But you can also listen to it on there as well on the website. So if you can't be bothered going finding it on the SoundCloud page, don't worry, I've got it hooked up on the website. Be sure to check out the website, theheadanthonywalker.net. And also, guys, there's a contact form area on that site as well. Get in contact with me. Give me feedback on the podcast. Anything to improve the website, please let me know. If you've got any questions for me, my name is Anthony Walker. If you've got any questions for me, hook me up. Ask me questions, wrestling related questions. Ask me questions in general if you want to get to know me. Give me feedback, do all that good stuff. I'm open to all of that as well. And also, guys, be sure to check out, I would imagine it's gone up as I'm recording this, I was on Offshoot Radio this past week with James Belmont and Billy Johnson. Be sure to check that out, that episode as well. And also my latest installment of Wrestling Unleashed with me, courtesy of Michael Larkin. And Michael Larkin will be back on this show ASAP very, very soon. He'll be back. He's going to let me know on that, and then we'll hook him up. I will get back to doing another episode of Wrestling Zone with Michael Larkin, so be sure to check that out as well. Great fan of the show, great fan of me in general, from what I've gathered, and yeah, big thank you for having me on this past week on the show. I actually enjoyed that, talking to him there. And then after that, I went straight on to Mr. Belmont, who has a serious problem and has been giving me grief lately with the old Grado winning the ICW World Championship. But be sure to check out Offshoot Radio as well. Shout out to Mr. Rodriguez, and shout out to Mr. Belmont, as well as shout out to Roxy. That's right, Rockstar. And Rox, if you're listening to this, I want you back on my show, okay? I want you back on my show, so get ready for that as well. Also, a big shout out to Mr. Kinny Killer as well. Sunday Segue. I ain't talked to you in a while, fam. I know you're listening. I know you're probably listening to this as well. I'll send you this as well, so be sure to check it out. And hell, if you want to get me back on your show, I'm open to it. The last time you attempted to get me back on, I was working the next day. I was working the Borough Leeds match. And like I said, I ain't talked to you in a while, so just want to send a shout out to you. Also, check out this week. Thanks to all who watched the videos this past week as well that I did. I did a week-long of videos this past week. I have been very busy, and I'm trying to bring out as much content as I can for the Wrestling Matters channel. I will be doing another Raw review this Tuesday, and also, like I say, check out my Survivor Series review as well, reviewing Survivor Series, and I will play that for you next week on the podcast. Now, Melissa Joan Hart, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It's getting to the point right now, ladies and gentlemen, where, everybody has an opinion about the professional wrestling business, good or bad. But apparently, Miss Hart has gone on record on Twitter and said that Kevin Owens is, and I quote, lazy. Now, I've said this, who the fuck is Melissa Joan Hart at first, and yeah, it's Sabrina the Teenage Witch. What gets me is this: Kevin Owens, lazy. I don't know what fucking WWE she's watching, but obviously it's not the same WWE. She's obviously watching a entirely different WWE to what we're watching, at least what I'm watching every week, because no way, shape or form is Kevin Owens, the character, as she puts it, lazy. No way, no how. Since day one he's walked through the doors of WWE, he has been kicking major ass, okay? And because of this, she's been blocked by Kevin. She's been blocked by various other people as well, including Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods in the New Day. I do this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm a wrestling fan, and I've been watching wrestling ever since I was a child, okay? And I have an opinion about wrestling. We all have our opinions. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. And we all have an opinion about the professional wrestling business, okay? The wrestling business in general, okay? And I like to think I have an opinion on wrestling, and not only that, I know my fair share of the wrestling business, and I know my fair share of wrestling as well, because hey, I've been watching it all my life. But now you've got someone like Melissa Joan Hart, who hasn't been relevant since her show was taken off air. Clarissa Explains It All, and the one that she's mainly famous for is Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and also relevant to being in a Britney Spears video. Can't believe I've watched Britney Spears music videos before, and she was also in one of them as well, You Drive Me Crazy. But she now all of a sudden has an opinion, a valid opinion in her way, as I would imagine, about the professional wrestling business, especially WWE in general. Honey, you don't know anything, and the fact that you have the audacity to say, in your opinion, that Kevin Owens is lazy means that you're probably watching an entirely different WWE than most of other WWE fans are watching, because no way, no how is Kevin Owens lazy. There is a reason he is the Intercontinental Champion, okay? You obviously didn't win that title being lazy, okay? And it just mind boggles me. I mean, your opinion, from the sounds of it, Melissa, is like an opinion of Kevin Dunn backstage. This guy who's a producer, he runs the trucks and everything, and apparently he's got a job there for life because he saved some wrestling videos and stuff like that, some valid wrestling video stuff, and Vince McMahon gave him a job for life, whatever that is, I don't know. But this guy's a producer and he runs the truck, and all of a sudden he has some stroke in the WWE company. That's how much your opinion matters. Your opinion is on the level of a Kevin Dunn, okay? No one cares. And plus, I think a majority of the wrestling fans, especially WWE fans, would disagree with you big time, because no way, no how is Kevin Owens lazy. And the fact that you say that Kevin Owens is lazy kind of tells me that you're watching an entirely different WWE, because Kevin Owens is the man, and probably now is probably the number one heel in the company, since poor old Seth Rollins is now out for 9 months. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end all that there, and I'll be back right after this with the Raw audio. With the Raw audio for the Raw review this past week, and then after that I'll play the Survivor Series predictions, and then I'll be back after that with the Smackdown NXT, TNA and Ring of Honor stuff as well, and anything else that I see relevant to mention here on the podcast. So enjoy the Raw and Survivor Series predictions review audio that I did from this past week on the Wrestling Matters channel, and I'll see you for the Smackdown and NXT. See you in a bit. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/WM podcast and like the page and show your support to the podcast that stands up for professional wrestling, the Wrestling Matters podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's me, Ted H. EAD. Back with another Raw review video. Hope you're well, whatever it is you are doing. I hope you enjoyed Raw last night, because I surely did. Yeah. Another very entertaining Monday Night Raw. And like a website correctly say, Raw seems to be gathering a little bit of momentum now, in my opinion. I love it. I love what I saw last night. And what shocked me of the whole show, I mean, rubbed my eyes and everything, was the contract signing involving the Divas as well. Holy moly. I'll get to that later. I want to kick off, Raw kicked off though with the tribute to France. For those of you that don't know, which I'm sure you all do, with the tributes to France and whatnot, the terrorist attacks. And if anybody knows anything about terrorist attacks, it is the good old US of A, considering what happened in 2001 with 9/11. And now France know the receiving end of it now. And hell, we've had some terrorist attacks over here in the UK as well, in London. God, bunch of scumbags. But yeah, just to think, the terrorist attacks were right near a football ground when a match was playing, France versus Germany. Can you imagine if they affected the football ground? I mean, that scares me, that thought. But shout out to everybody who's French, any French people out there. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all, moving forward and rebuilding whatever it is you have to rebuild because of what happened on last week with them scumbags. But Vive la France. And Raw kicked off with the tribute to them as well. And then it really kicked off with the BOD. That's right. Brothers of Destruction come out and warn the Wyatt family for what's going to happen at Survivor Series. Small little problem. The Druids came out with the Undertaker and Kane. Wyatt came out and basically turned the Druids into flock of sheep. They all had masks on, and they all attacked The Undertaker and Kane. Bad move on their part. And Undertaker and Kane managed to send a little warning to the Wyatt family for Survivor Series. Now, to be honest, this should be an elimination match, in my opinion. Undertaker should go out. Undertaker and Kane could probably beat the Wyatt family 4-on-2, but they should go out and get 2 more people and make it an elimination match, because that would be interesting. But tag team, what it is what it is. Like I say, though, I would prefer a elimination match. But at the end of the day, the fact that The Undertaker and Kane are going to be competing at the show, I'm down for that. No problem. Match-wise, Kevin Owens went out 1-on-1 and defeated Adrian Neville. A very game Adrian Neville. Very good match, top to bottom. These two have had matches before. These two had feuds, a feud in NXT. So we all knew it was going to be something good, something decent. And Kevin Owens manages to go through to the semi-finals. Intercontinental champion. Could he be World Heavyweight champion as well? I won't be disappointed if he becomes World Heavyweight champion. But it'd be interesting to see if he's going to keep both belts. He probably will. But I wonder if WWE may have him give up the Intercontinental Championship. But, you know, we shall see. We shall see what happens. And but like I say, if he becomes world champion, I won't be disappointed. There's somebody else in this that deserves it. I'll mention that in a second. But if Kevin Owens wins at Survivor Series, you're not going to get any beefy, arguments out of me. I actually like Kevin Owens, so it is what it is. But great match, nonetheless, with him and Adrian Neville. But then again, you would expect that from two people who have been in the ring before. Next match after that was basically a squash match for Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze beating Ron Killings. There's actually rumors flying around that Ron Killings is going to retire. Now, these are what I've heard on the dirt sheets, and various other sources as well. Ron Killings is actually thinking of hanging up the boots. It would be a shame to see a great talent like that retire, but I don't mean no disrespect towards R-Truth, but the only time R-Truth has been relevant is when he was in TNA. And WWE do not talk about that. Quite frankly, they don't talk about TNA. And considering the shape TNA is in, it's hard to blame them. But it is what it is. Ron Killings used to be a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, former TNA World Champion, if you will, whatever you want to call it. And, it is what it is at the end of the day. But if he does retire, it will be a shame to see him retire. It's just a shame WWE never saw anything in him. TNA did. Shame WWE didn't. Another tournament match. Another great tournament match, in fact. Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler. Now, Dean Ambrose, I am so happy he's gone through. I'm going to talk more about this match later on after I've gone through all the matches of the tournament. But if there's anybody who deserves a world championship a title run in general, it's Dean Ambrose. Nothing against Dolph Ziggler. I'm a Dolph fan, but Dean Ambrose deserves to be number one. He deserves to be the face of the company. But we all know what's going to happen at the end of the day. Roman Reigns is going to win this tournament. No question about it. Give me a break. Anyone could see it with a mat from a mile away that Roman Reigns is going to win this tournament. But Dean Ambrose should be the face of the company. And the fact that they haven't pulled the plot or pulled the trigger, if you will, on Dean Ambrose is a joke, quite frankly. Dean Ambrose should be WWE World Heavyweight Champion. If there's a God in this world, he will win this tournament. Nothing against Roman Reigns. I just think Dean Ambrose deserves it more. But we all know they're all pushing Roman Reigns to be the champion. You could seal it. You could seal it. You could see it a mile away. It is clear as day. But in my opinion, Dean Ambrose should be the champion. I would put the belt on Dean Ambrose. But like I said, they're building Roman Reigns up, more on Roman in a bit. 6-man tag, New Day. Oh, boy. New Day defeated Ryback and the Usos, but New Day won by disqualification because Ryback lost the plot a little bit, shoving the referee around, and Ryback, despite the fact that he destroyed New Day, him and the Usos destroyed New Day managed to get away with a soft win, quite frankly. Tag team match down the road, Usos and the New Day. Doesn't seem it's going to... I don't know if it's going to be at the Survivor Series. I'll have to wait and see. Tune in this Friday on the Wrestling Matters channel for my predictions for the Survivor Series this Friday on the Wrestling Matters channel. And so I don't know what the hell's going to happen, but it looks like the Usos are going to be a future World Tag Team Champions. But then again, I said that about the Dudley Boys, didn't I? Look what happened there. But yeah, interesting to see what happens. Interesting to see what happens with Ryback, considering he lost to Kalisto last week. Go figure. Now to Roman Reigns and Cesaro. Again, another epic match. I really enjoyed this match. And the Superman punch and the spear combination gets the victory for Roman. Now, I like this idea of a possible Roman Reigns. You could probably see this a mile away. Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose match in the final. But I'm not counting out Del Rio. More on Del Rio in a second. You know, but you could probably see it a mile away. The mouth-watering fan is probably thinking Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, one-on-one. You know, you're probably thinking that. I won't be disappointed if that takes place. But like I said, I am pulling for Dean Ambrose to win this tournament. Not going to lie. But, you know, that's wishful thinking on my part. Dudley Boys defeat the Ascension. Or as they're now known as Stardust's Errand Boys. Cosmic Wasteland thing. But they job to the Dudley Boys. I think it'd be best for them to go back on NXT, quite frankly, the Ascension. But what was a dream match for Kalisto turned it into a defeat because Del Rio's Trio of War Stomp got him the victory, and he will face Roman Reigns in the semifinals at the Survivor Series pay-per-view. Now, I won't go into this too much, but Roman Reigns faces Del Rio, Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens. Roman Reigns is going to beat Del Rio. I hope Dean Ambrose wins against Kevin Owens. Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, final. Hoping Dean Ambrose will win. That's my prediction. I'll give you an early prediction there, guys. I'll give it again on Friday, but I'll give you an early prediction. Right there. Because that's where I see this. But we all know you could see it a mile away on Raw. The way Triple H was talking to Cesaro. The way Triple H talked to Del Rio as well. You could see it a mile away that Roman Reigns is going to win this tournament. You know, Triple H is holding a grudge. There's going to be a feud down the road. Triple H's worst nightmare is going to come true. Roman Reigns will be the World Heavyweight Champion, Triple H will be pissed. And you could see it a mile away. Something's going to happen involve Triple H and Roman Reigns. And if you couldn't see it on Raw, then you're blind as a bat, in my opinion. And then came the somewhat main event, if you will, the contract signing involving the women, which was something new to me. I don't remember the last time they had a female women's contract signing for a women's match at a pay-per-view. So this was new to me. And I don't care what anyone says right now. I may like Paige, but if she's trying to be CM Punk, she's doing a horrible job. I can tell you that right now. Because she made fun of Charlotte's late brother, Reed. And in my opinion, I don't care what anybody says, she went too far. And I'm hoping right now, I don't care if she's English or not or talented, I'm hoping Charlotte rips her apart at Survivor Series. Anybody talks about my late members of the family like that, they would get a butt whooping too. And she went too far. And like I say, if WWE are trying to make her the female CM Punk, then I don't know if it's WWE or her, but someone's doing a horrible job. Because that was disgusting on Raw, in my opinion. That was too far. I don't think even CM Punk would go down that route. I could understand it. She's a heel. She's trying to get heat. But there should be a fine line between getting heat. You know, there should be a line that you shouldn't cross. And I wouldn't blame Ric Flair if he was pissed about that either. But Charlotte, it ended with Charlotte and Paige brawling and Charlotte getting the better of her and Charlotte making a statement to what's going to happen or what possibly will happen at Survivor Series. More on that Friday. Overall, really enjoyed Raw. The momentum, it's gathered momentum over the past couple of weeks, man. And hopefully it will stay like that. And the scores are 4 out of 5 and 8 out of 10 Sunday Segway terms. A good solid 8. I really enjoyed Raw. 4 great tournament matches too. Actually 3. But Del Rio's and Kalisto's was okay. But the other 3 were superb. Really enjoyed it, all 3. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this Raw review. Hope you've enjoyed it. Leave a like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. If you like what you see, subscribe to the channel if you want more of these, because I've got a lot more coming. Weekly reviews on Monday Night Raw. Plus, it's Undertaker week here on the channel. I did a video on The Undertaker on Monday. Yesterday, in fact. I've got one tomorrow and Thursday, and then tuning on Friday for the Survivor Series predictions as well. And if I can fit it in, I will review at some point. Look out for it. I will review at some point the ICW Fear and Loathing 2015. And oh boy, what a night. Okay, because pro wrestling, that's what I want to bring on this channel. Give you guys to voice your opinions, voice what you can do, voice your opinions about professional wrestling. And I want to bring the best and talk about the best in professional wrestling. Why? Because wrestling matters. Not sports entertainment, wrestling. Professional wrestling. And until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Anthony Walker, here for the Wrestling Madness channel, saying, see you later. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not follow the Wrestling Matters podcast now on Twitter at WM Podcast for all professional wrestling news. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Ladies and gentlemen, it's me, it's at HEAD, back with you for another video, for another live stream video, recording, whatever you want to call it, for my WWE Survivor Series predictions. That's right, Survivor Series is this Sunday. As I'm recording this, as I'm doing this video right now, it is this Sunday night, and it is headlined, of course, by The Undertaker and the 25 years. 25 years of the dead man since 1990. Where is this year gone? Anyway, Today's going to be the predictions. I'm going to give you my predictions of what I think is going to happen. Whether these will happen or not remains to be seen. So, without further ado, we'll get right into it. And we'll talk about the match that, I don't know, is it meaningless? You know, do people care about this match? They've built the person up in it, and I'm talking about Tyler Breeze. They've built him up in this match as well, but whether or not they'll pull the plug on something, I don't know. But it's Tyler Breeze and Dolph Ziggler. Now, the way you brought Tyler Breeze up, or the way that Tyler Breeze has been brought up in this, they've got to do something. He's got to win this match. I want to see Dolph win, but you know, they've built him up in this match the way he's, you know, antagonized Dolph since he's come up, since he made his debut on Smackdown and that. So Tyler's got to win this match. So my prediction is Tyler to win this match, and hopefully he will go on to do big things in the main roster. Yashemi didn't get that opportunity down in NXT. So I'm predicting Tyler Breeze to win that match, and hopefully, I don't know, as far as championships go, stick the US title on it, or stick the Intercontinental Championship on it, obviously when Kevin Owens is finished. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Tyler Breeze win the championship, but he needs to win this match to establish himself on that roster, to establish himself as, I'm here, I'm a main player, you know, I'm ready to win a title or something. I'm ready to I can be a big deal on this roster. Moving on, I'm going to talk about the BOD Wyatt family. I think BOD are obviously going to win. It'll be dumb not to. I mean, you built Survivor Series, for crying out loud. You built it around Undertaker and everything. It'll be dumb to have the Brothers of Destruction lose to the Wyatt family. So whether we like it or not, Bray Wyatt's going to lose another match again. But we don't know who the Wyatt family members are going to be. It'll be stupid not to put Bray Wyatt in. It'd be stupid for Bray Wyatt not to, you know, step up and say, "Here, I'm going to step in." You know, Bray Wyatt and probably Braun Strowman. I mean, you've got to have Bray Wyatt in there because freaking Undertaker. I mean, this whole thing started with Bray Wyatt, for crying out loud. So it'd be dumb not to have Bray Wyatt in there. Other than that, excuse me. Apologies for that. Other than that, I do see BOD winning, but how is this going to pan out? Is this going to be a tag team? Is this going to be a 4-on-2 scenario? You know, we don't know. We won't know until the match itself. I believe, and I still believe to this very day, they should have made this match a Survivor Series match and should have allowed, not that they need it. I mean, they proved that on Monday Night Raw when they cleaned the Wyatt family out. But I believe this should be a, you know, Wyatt family versus Team Brothers of Destruction, and Undertaker and Kane are allowed to go out and get two people, or two guys who have got history probably with the Wyatt family and who will be willing to step up and face the Wyatt family with them. But I mean, a normal tag team match to me doesn't work. You know, I would have made it more interesting and made it a Survivor Series if it was me. But you know, it's still good to see the Undertaker on the pay-per-view anyway. Brothers of Destruction to win this match, though. Now, I'm also going to talk about as well, I have heard that WWE have announced a traditional Survivor Series match as well. I don't know who's going to be in it yet. Word hasn't got out yet about this, so we'll find out at the pay-per-view. Like I said, at the moment right now, there's five matches, as we know it, you know, semifinals and final. There's, you know, 5 things that are going to take place at this pay-per-view as we know it. So, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So whether they bring in a traditional Survivor Series match, we don't know. We won't know. We probably won't know until the pay-per-view. But it doesn't look like there's going to be a kickoff show or match for the kickoff show. So that should be good. Anyway, moving on. Charlotte and Paige for the Divas title. Now, Paige crossed the line Monday night on Raw, and WWE, quite frankly, crossed the line on Monday night when they talked about Reed and, they used the Reed's death in the story with Paige and Charlotte. Charlotte to win. I can't see them dropping the title back to Paige. And plus all this momentum that Charlotte's got will be flushed down the toilet if this happens, if Paige wins it. But I see Charlotte winning this match, but it's a 50-50. I will say this, it's 50-50 on this one. I mean, a part of me thinks that Paige is going to win it for some reason, but my prediction is for Charlotte to win this match and to retain the title. It would be stupid for her to lose the title and lose the momentum that she's got. But this has got extremely personal, and considering what happened on Monday night with the Reed line that Paige used, I would imagine it's not just about the Divas title now, it's about Charlotte wanting to kick Paige's ass. So I will pick Charlotte, but I'll be neither hero there if Paige wins. But I'm picking Charlotte to win, Charlotte to retain. And that brings on to the World Title Tournament. I'm guessing the World Championship match, the World Title Tournament, which will see Alberto Del Rio go one-on-one with Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens against Dean Ambrose. Now, I only made this video earlier on in the week, this prediction earlier on in the week on the Raw video, I would imagine. So I'm going to do it again. I know they are pushing the hell out of Roman Reigns to win this match. You could see it a mile away. You could see it a mile away that they're wanting Roman Reigns to win this match. Roman Reigns being that next guy to follow up. I don't know what the hell is going to happen, whether there'll be something's going to go down, it looks like. Will Reigns join the Authority? I don't know anymore. I can't predict WWE half the time. But like I say, you all know Roman Reigns is going to win the match. Like I say, you can see it a mile away. And I predict that it will be Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose in the final. That's what I predict. I'll be very surprised if if Kevin Owens gets in the final. Not saying that he doesn't deserve it, but I can see this happening. Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns in the final. Because you got two guys in there that have already got championships. Alberto Del Rio and Kevin Owens. They've already got titles. So they're just basically, in my opinion, they're basically setting up what's going to go down. And what's going to go down, in my opinion, is Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose final. Now, as for the pick, I already made it clear earlier on in the week that if you go back and watch my other videos, I picked Dean Ambrose to win this. I prayed that Dean Ambrose win this. Why? Because he deserves it. If it's anybody that deserves a championship run, a solid title run, it's Dean Ambrose. But, like I say, you know damn well that they're pulling for Roman Reigns. They are pushing Roman Reigns, from what it seems, to the moon. And they're pushing for Roman Reigns to win this match. You can see it a mile away. What will happen, I don't know. But I predict a heel turn. Probably with Roman Reigns, although it would be pointless in a way, but that's what's going to happen. They're going to have Roman turn on Dean Ambrose at some point during the match. How they're going to do it, I do not know. But surely they can't turn Dean Ambrose heel, because that would be even more pointless. I know there's been pushes for Dean Ambrose to turn heel, but what good would that do? What sense would that make? I think it would make more sense for Roman Reigns to turn heel. How would they do that? I don't know. We have to find out, I guess, on Sunday what happens. But I don't know how it's going to happen. I'm hoping Dean Ambrose wins the match. I'm hoping they allow Dean Ambrose to win. But my prediction is for Roman Reigns will be the next WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And I also predict a heel turn. Now, as for the cash-in, that's a possibility too. I can't, deny that. I can't, make that. No, I can't see that not happening. Yeah, I won't be surprised if that does happen. But cash-in aside, Roman Reigns will be your next WWE World Heavyweight Champion via a heel. And also there'll be a heel turn in there somehow. That's my prediction on that one. You can see it a mile away, they're pushing Roman Reigns. As for the heel turn, I don't know how they would incorporate it, but it's probably going to happen. And I'll be very surprised if it doesn't. If they put Dean Ambrose as heel, I believe it's a mistake. But it would make more sense for Roman Reigns to go heel. Like I say, though, how would they do that? I don't know. Well, guess we'll find out Sunday. All in all, I'll be back on Sunday with a review. I'm staying after the couple of weeks that I've had. I don't give a flying fuck what I'm doing Monday morning or that Monday of that week or whatever. I don't give a damn what I'm doing. I've got the week to myself. I'm going to sit back, relax, and enjoy it. And I'm going to watch Survivor Series Sunday night. I don't give a fuck what I'm doing Monday morning. I could care less. Okay? I have had a terrible past couple of weeks. So I'm going to sit back, relax, put my feet up, and enjoy Survivor Series this Sunday. Whether anyone likes it or not, and I don't care. Okay? I am sick and tired of people in my personal life, in my life, not necessarily you guys, people telling me what to do and this, that, and the other. I've got what I want. I know what I want to do. I just want to execute it. I know what I'm going to do. I've got a podcast that I'm building. I've got everything that I want to do, and I'm sick and tired of it. Sorry to go into a bit of a rant, guys, but I've had a pretty hard couple of weeks, maybe a month at the moment. I've had a pretty tough couple of weeks, maybe more. But, I'm going to forget about it now. I'm going to relax, and I'm going to enjoy the Survivor Series in peace. And if anyone's got a problem with that, in my personal, in my family or whatever, well, you can kiss my big fat hairy ass. Because I'm a wrestling fan. And I'm fucking proud of it. And again, sorry to go into a bit of a rant, but I've had a horrible couple of weeks. All that's going to come to an end now. I'm going to put a stop to it. Because I'm a proud wrestling fan. Speaking of wrestling fan, guys, I have a website now. theheadanthonywalker.net. All the links to it will be in the description. Please feel free to check it out. Contact me on there as well. There's a segment there, or a section on there where you can contact me. Give me feedback, ask me questions. If you want to collaborate with me and come on the podcast and talk wrestling with me, you're more than welcome to. That's my open up to you right now, guys. Whoever watches this video, you want to come on the podcast, the Wrestling Matters podcast, hook me up in the links below, and I'll get you on. Wrestling fans are welcome on the podcast, guys. That's why I've been trying to build this podcast. Wrestling fans are welcome on the podcast because every wrestling fan out there, has a price. Everybody has a say. Good, bad, ugly. That's what this channel's about. The freedom to speak your mind about the professional wrestling business. Good, bad. You don't have to disagree with that or agree with what I say. You may agree with it, you may not. But at the end of the day, that's the beauty of a wrestling fan. Everybody has an opinion. And I've been having an opinion ever since I was a wee child. I have now been a wrestling fan now for 24 years. At the most. Maybe I'm wrong on that one, I don't know. But I started watching wrestling in 91. Yeah, my very first pay-per-view was in 91. I may have watched it before that, I don't know. But I started watching wrestling when I was a child. And now I've got my own podcast, my own website, and my own stuff as well, and my own channel to bring to you guys. What is your predictions for this Sunday? If you can, or if you want, leave them in the comments below. Or get me on Facebook, facebook.com/WM Podcast. As well, all one word, by the way, WM Podcast as well, and like the page, check it out as well. Leave your opinions on there as well, because you'll be seeing this video on there. This video will be going up on that YouTube, on the Facebook page as well. And with that being said, guys, I'll be back Sunday rather with the review for Survivor Series Sunday morning, early hours, straight after the pay-per-view. Okay, straight after the pay-per-view, so be sure to check that out. I booked it for 4 o'clock in the morning UK time, but depending on how the pay-per-view goes, it might finish early, so be sure to check that out as well. But be that as it may, it's booked for 4 o'clock UK time. It's going to be on the paper. It's going to be straight after the pay-per-view, come what may. So if the pay-per-view finishes at quarter to 4, I will do it then, whatever. Pay-per-views tend to finish early. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this, guys. Like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. Enjoy Survivor Series this Sunday, because I know I bloody will. And until next time, guys, until Sunday, check out the review, and then the Raw review on Tuesday. Until then, my name is Anthony Walker. Be sure to check out my links on my website, and I'll see you soon. Peace. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/WM Podcast and like the page and show your support to the podcast that stands up for professional wrestling, the Wrestling Matters podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wrestling Matters podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in there and listening to the 2 audios there, the predictions and the Raw review. Hope you've enjoyed them. And yeah, there'll be more of the Raw review next week on the podcast. Now to the Smackdown and NXT talking points. Before The Miz could welcome the 4 semi-finalists for the World Heavyweight Championship title tournament, they sort of welcomed themselves first. The reigning Intercontinental Champion emerged, ready to turn the most must-see talk show in WWE's history, I disagree with that, into the Kevin Owens show, and aiming to prove he'll be the man at Sunday's network pay-per-view. In response, the United States Champion walked out with Seb Coulter, called Owens and Miz haters. As things heated up between the 2 title holders, Dean Ambrose entered the ring, vowed to walk out Sunday with the World Heavyweight Championship. Before his brother-in-arms, Roman Reigns, could really add his 2 cents in. R-Truth joined the fray for some reason, mistakenly thinking that he was in the tournament as well. Once that got sorted out, Reigns tricked Miz into calling a Hollywood-style action. In response, Ambrose sucker punched the Awesome One, which wasn't the first time. The other talking points in there, the other talking points on the SmackDown were Cesaro defeating Miz one-on-one. Neville and the Dudley Boys beat Stardust in the Ascension, or as they are now called, Cosmic Wasteland. Dudley Boys finished them off with 3D. Tyler Breeze beats Zack Ryder, warming up for his match with Dolph Ziggler at Survivor Series. The Wyatt family and the Brothers of Destruction exchange dark promises. Bray Wyatt and the Omnis followers journeyed through SmackDown rubs, delivering a promise to The Undertaker and Kane that they will fall in their pursuit for redemption at Survivor Series. But the question still remains, which two members of the Wyatt family will face the Brothers of Destruction? In response, the Phenom and the Demon appeared on the Titantron and proclaimed that they will get back what was theirs on Sunday, and that their opposition would most certainly rest in peace. Then Kane's fire heated up the arena. The Druids, under the control of Bray Wyatt since Monday, were revealed to be down and out. Little receipt for what happened on Monday. Not that they needed it. Charlotte beats Brie Bella. Again, another warm-up match for the, not warm-up for Charlotte heading into Sunday. Big E beats Kalisto, and Ryback rushed to the ring to make the save. And in the main event, the full semi-finalists of the World Heavyweight Championship tournament threw down in SmackDown's tag team main event. The stakes were so intense that both teams ended up being counted out in the midst of the free-for-all exchange outside the ring. But after the bell, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose ultimately stood tall. First, the Lunatic Fringe reversed Alberto Del Rio's cross armbreaker and invaded Mex-America with dirty deeds. He then avoided Kevin Owens' pop-up powerbomb, making way for Roman Reigns' spear to the prize fighter. And then both men looked over the World Heavyweight Championship, which ultimately allowed SmackDown to go off the air. You heard my predictions of what's going to go, or what happened. Well, only you guys know what happened at the pay-per-view, and I'll review and talk about that next week on the podcast. Now for the NXT talking points. Now I'm not going to talk too much. Okay, now I'm not going to talk too much about the NXT show. All I will say is this: Nia Jax beat Carmella. Jason Jordan and Chad Gable beat The Ascension. To be honest with you, that's the best place for The Ascension, to be honest. Emma beats Mary Kate. The NXT Tag Team Champions Dash and Dawson beat Holes and Skylar. Corey Hollis and John Skylar in the non-title match, which I would imagine is two jobbers if you ask me. And Bayley defeats Alexia Bliss. But the story of the match was at the end. Unfortunately, the champion's celebration was cut short by Eva Marie. Through the jeering of the NXT universe made it hard to hear, the Total Diva star Eve announced next week she will challenge Bayley for the women's title. And thankfully, I'm not going to tell you what happens, I already know what happens, but thankfully, let's just say, spoiler alert in a way, she comes up a little short. NXT TakeOver in London is Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, the main event. I can't believe she actually got a title shot, but no one likes her, so it's plain as day. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of that part of the Wrestling Matters podcast. I'll be back right after this quick time out with TNA and Ring of Honor. So stay tuned. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not follow the Wrestling Matters podcast now on Twitter at WM Podcast for all professional wrestling news. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Okay, you lovely, lovely people, welcome back to part 3 of the podcast. And I'm going to talk TNA and Ring of Honor in this podcast just like last week. There's not really that much to talk about from TNA, you know, what's going down is the World Title Series. But what I do want to talk about involving TNA, I know Bobby Roode beat Abyss this past week as well to advance. And now we're going to focus on the round of 16 now coming soon. So it's not really that much to talk about as far as the big thing goes, the big world title series, which is a joke anyway. Like I say, go back to 2 weeks ago, my little rant that I did with James Belmont and Mike Rodriguez. Should tell you the direction I had there. Pardon, excuse the cough there a little bit, guys. Now, what I do want to know is, what I do want to talk about involving TNA is Pop-Up TV, or Pop TV, as it's called, because starting January 5th, TNA will be moving to their network, and their first show on the network is a live show, and TNA is moving to Tuesdays. Now, like I say, guys, I hope this works out for them. I said sarcastically, give it 6 months, they'll get kicked off theirs as well. But TNA, from what I got when I watched the video of Dixie announcing this, I she seemed sincere, that she talked to them, and they seemed pretty keen, and they said it was all about the fans, as it should be. It should be all about the TNA fans. But like I said, what TNA needs to do is get an established network that's not going to fuck them about. Okay, they've been on a couple of networks they've been on one network since leaving Spike and Destination America, and they've just basically fucked them about. 1 minute to get them on, 6 months later they announced that they're going to believe them because their ratings ain't good enough, and the next minute they're bringing in Ring of Honor, and apparently they're fucking them over as well. So what they need to do is, hopefully this will be an established network. I have no idea, it sounds new to me, but it's established network that can help them out, and hopefully will help them out, and hopefully will help them out towards get back on track. Yes, they've got a long way to go to get back on track, but it's a start. And from what I got, Dixie seems pretty sincere about it, and she seems pretty excited about it, and hey, I hope it works out for them, because I'll tell you this right now, if this doesn't work and they go back to square one again with Destination America and get kicked off, they're fucked. Straight and simple, they are fucked. And what they need to do now is change their storylines and change their angles and booking, because if Awesome Kong wins the world title, I will definitely fall out with TNA. Seriously, I mean, Awesome Kong winning the World Heavyweight Championship, it's just a rumour at the moment. We'll believe it when we see it during this World Title Series, but that's the rumour I'm hearing, and I've even seen a picture of it, guys, not to give a spoiler alert, but if that's the case, then TNA are in the shit. I know they're trying to make history, but they're going the wrong way about it, because no one's going to care. So hopefully that will change now that they're going on this network. And I mean, can you imagine the match if this is true, guys? Awesome Kong versus Drew Galloway for the world title? It doesn't make sense. But at the end of the day, let's hope. I mean, to be honest, the whole World Title Series doesn't make sense, to be honest. The World Title Series is a joke. I mean, they basically fucked over Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy wins the title at Bound for Glory. 4 days later, he has to give it up due to an injunction. Wow. It seems that WWE is not the only lazy booking around here. But like I say, guys, hopefully from January 5th, it will be a clean slate, and hopefully things will progress in a positive way. That's wishful thinking on my part, but hey, let's give it a chance. Let's see where it goes. I hope I'm right. If not, TNA are really fucked. Now for Ring of Honor. And I saw Ring of Honor this past week. Silas Young and the Bay City Bruiser in a great outing against the War Machine. Two great tag teams, and yes, I will admit, Silas Young and Bay City Bruiser were a tag team, and a good one at that. But although they did show some signs of teamwork and aggressiveness towards the War Machine, the War Machine were just too strong for them and won the match. Also, Kingdom defended the tag team championships against Addiction in their rematch, and in the Addiction's rightful rematch, which was tarnished by somebody coming down dressed as a KRD member and super kicking Kazarian and costing them the belts. It makes, this whole KRD thing started with the Addiction and Chris Sabin. I mean, was it Chris Sabin? Hell, was it Adam Cole? Who knows? But at the moment right now, the Kingdom of the World Tag Team Champions, and next week is headlined by Roderick Strong and Jay Lethal for the Television Championship. And I'll be honest, I already know about this. I already know what's going on. I already know who the TV champion is. You might have seen it if you've seen it on ringofhonorwrestling.com. You might have seen the picture of who's got the belt. A little spoiler alert, I'm not going to give you that, but history will be made next week. I can guarantee you that as well. But this week's Ring of Honor, back to this week's Ring of Honor, and this week's Ring of Honor was headlined as well and spotlighted by Steve Corino. It seems that Steve Corino can't wrestle anymore. He came out and he announced that he had to have surgery on some nagging injuries that he's had in the past, which obviously cost him his career, because Nigel McGuinness was going to give him a match against BJ Whitmer, but that can't possibly happen because he has to have surgery. And obviously, if you've got to have surgery, the surgery comes first, which is a disappointing shame, to be honest with you, because I want to see him beat the living daylights out of BJ Whitmer. I think everybody else did, including Nigel, and it was a fight without honor. It wasn't a wrestling match or anything, it was a fight, and obviously it can't happen because it seems that it can't happen anyway because of what's going down with the surgery and that, and yes, it's a shame. And if that's the end of Steve Corino, I mean, he thanked everybody, thanked Kevin Kelly, thanked everybody at Ring of Honor. Have we seen the last of Steve Corino? arena in pro wrestling. I hope not, but if it is what it is, it has to be. All in all, great show, and looking forward to next week's television title match. And with that being said, guys, I'm going to wrap this part up here. I'll be back with the outro, a few little promotions, and what you should look out for and check out as well. So I'll be back right after this. Stay tuned. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/WM podcast and like the page and show your support to the podcast that stands up for professional wrestling, the Wrestling Matters podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final part of the Wrestling Matters podcast. Now, before I get into little promotions, I want to send a shout out to Mark Dallas and everybody at ICW putting on one hell of a show. Fear and Loathing this past week, absolutely superb. And in the next coming weeks, very, very soon, I will review that show. Absolutely superb. Superb show, top to bottom. And shout out to Grado as well, and congratulations on becoming the ICW World Heavyweight Champion. Now, the question is, where does that leave Drew Galloway now? Will he go join TNA full time now, or is he still going to be this professional wrestler, or, what's next for Drew Galloway in ICW? Very interesting diconic of where that's going to go. But anyway, in any event, a little quick reminder, ladies and gentlemen, before I leave you in this very fine day, on this very fine show. Hope you've enjoyed the show, by the way. I'm going to leave you with this. Be sure to check out my website, guys. Yes, I have a website, theheadanthonywalker.net. I almost said .com. It's not .com, it's .net. TheHeadAnthonyWalker.net. Be sure to check out the Wrestling Matters channel as well for weekly videos. AJW Wrestling Matters on YouTube. Also, SoundCloud.com/Wrestling_Matters_podcast. And be sure to check out all the good stuff as well. YouTube.com/Games Matter channel. For more information on all them sites, go to TheHeadAnthonyWalker.net. And also, you could hear this podcast, this episode of the podcast, as well as future episodes of the podcast on there as well. Be sure to check that out. Now, I'm going to leave you with a few more promotions, if I can find them. The WeHaveToGoBack.weebly.com for the Mystery Island website. What's this thing? I swear. Facebook.com/Back to the Island. All one word. And if I can find it as well. Come on, you stupid thing. Sorry about this, guys. My thing. That Mystery Island on Twitter as well. Twitter.com/That Mystery Island. Be sure to check that out. Be sure to check it all out. All the information. I'll have future announcements from them on this podcast very, very soon. Check that out as well. Shout out to Michael Larkin. Thank you so much for having me on the Wrestling Unleashed. He'll be back on this podcast very, very soon. He's got personal issues at the moment right now, so shout out to you, sir. Thank you to Mr. Belmont as well for inviting me on to the Offshoot Radio. Yes, it was last minute, but hey, I went on and had a blast. Check that episode out of Offshoot Radio. All the link will be in the description below once it's up. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your support, your continued support on the Wrestling Matters podcast. Be sure to check out the YouTube page as well as all the other sites that I mentioned. For more information, go to TheHeadAnthonyWalker.net. Also, fill in the contact form, guys. Leave me some questions, give me some feedback. It is more than welcome, and it'll be greatly appreciated. Any ideas matter, any ideas are welcome. And until next time, guys, my name is Anthony Walker for another installment of the Wrestling Matters podcast. See you soon. Peace out.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
Professional wrestling, this is it. This is us standing up.
Yes, 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 yes!
That's 13-14.
Dina, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold Simpson.